Hey there, Aries Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising. Welcome to your reading for the full moon in Sagittarius. That full moon is happening on either June 3rd or 4th, depending on where you are in the world. So I actually, over on Facebook, I have a complete astrology thing about it, but we're going to look at the energy around it for you. And you have the rune here is Nauthiz. And Nauthiz talks about your needs and wants being met, but there's a delay in them coming in, and sometimes that can feel really frustrating. And one of the things about this is using the sacred fire, lighting the sacred fire to ward off the lower vibrational energies, to burn them off, to release them. And also it's an opportunity to use fire as like if you're since you're a fire sign, it's a chance to use fire. So I would like to encourage you safety first, but this might be where you want to make a ritual this week, or for sure with this full moon, and using it as an opportunity to light a candle for your intention, or to write your intention of what it is that you would like to draw and attract to you, to release and to let go of, in order to create space for something new to come in. So this full moon actually was a new moon on December 4th of 2021, and that was an eclipse. It was a full moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and so now here we are at its flowering, and so it's the completing of a major cycle in order to create something new. And so there might feel like there's a delay in this cycle coming in. It could have a lot to do with the North Node getting ready to move into your sign, and it's almost as though through the process of that North Node moving into your sign in about a couple months, comes in the middle of July. I want to say like July 17th or something like that. But I think that with that energy, as that starts to move in, you'll start to see things happen. But this might be a really good opportunity for you to use, to light a candle, to ask for what you want, to create space by releasing blocks, right? It's a full moon, releasing the blocks of what does not serve you, by writing it down on a piece of paper and in a fire ceremony, burning it, but please do so safely, okay? Really important that we do not burn down the neighborhood, because you have this garden card, this card that looks very abundant and fertile, right? This is the garden card as your overall energy, and so there's an opportunity in your environment to bring in a great deal of abundance. And so while there is obviously a delay of some sort happening for you, there is sometimes, and okay, they said happening for you, and so sometimes that means that patience please while we are renovating and getting everything in order for you, is almost what it feels like. And so if you will allow this to happen, and try not to let the doubt sneak in, and try not to feel a little rattled by how long it seems to be taking, because the North Node is getting ready to move into your sign and bring you what looks like a great deal of abundance. The important thing is going to be, can you keep the doubts out of your heart? Because what you feel and the thoughts that you think related to those feelings is what creates the environment in which you're manifesting things. And so here's your opportunity to really use your personal power and manifestation by focusing on what you want and not on what you don't want. And that is really hard to do sometimes. And so that is what is really great about using a fire ceremony, because the things that you don't want, you can write them all down. It's like getting it off of your mind and onto paper, and then ceremonially turning it over to spirit. I trust that you will handle this. I understand that there is a delay, but I am certain that my issues will be resolved as quickly as possible. I trust that what I need will come to me as quickly as possible, and enjoy the journey of the time. So it's kind of like, so what they're showing me, I used to live in Florida, and being a resident in Florida, about 4 times a year you could go over to Disney, and at a reduced rate. So we'd go once in a while, usually when family came down, but we'd go over there, and and you'd have to snake your way through the line, right? Snake your way through the line. And that's what it feels like. You could see where you want to go, but first you got to snake your way through the line. But where you want to go is worth it, right? It is a lot of fun. And in the meantime, we would entertain the children by, like there'd be characters walking by, or we would play games, I Spy or whatever. So I almost feel like there's a need to find a way to enjoy the process as you are snaking, winding your way through it, because the key to the situation here is the snake. And this snake is the one that's a little vicious. There's two in here. One of them shedding the skin. This one is not. And so it almost feels like it's really important for you. The key to the situation is to feel safe and protected. I am the protective force in my life. I put my light out there to protect me, right? These are things you can say and do to manifest for yourself a protective force. Or if it makes you feel better, you can ask your higher self to come in and protect you. Ask Archangel Michael to come in. But ultimately, since we're all connected, you are the energy that protects yourself, and so it is encouraged and. It is a step in your spiritual growth when you understand and you realize how much power you actually have and you step into it. So the snake represents wisdom and knowledge. The snake represents transformation. This snake is ready, though, here in the heart space to defend its territory. It feels very Seven of Wands. It's like you know what you want and there's a need to stand your ground, to hold your space for what it is that you want, even though there's these delays coming in. So before I got started, I had actually picked a different deck to start with, and you actually had the card of protection from your ancestors and your guides that passed over, crossed over, that are protecting you right now. But I didn't like, the deck was too hard for me to use today. So communicated with Spirit, and we came up with another one. But I'm looking at these cards and I can see that protection message is important for you. And so it was the magic grandmother. So you are being protected by the magic, you are being protected by the ancestors, and you're being protected by your own personal power if you're willing to step into it. In the area of where you've been seeking knowledge, we have the owls. So clearly using your intuition, trying to reach into that. Also, owls to me represent studying and learning. Probably because the school mascot in high school was the owl, but also we have the owls always with the little, glasses and stuff. But there's a wisdom that comes from experience and information. It's both things. When you take the information and the experience and you combine it together, you get real wisdom. And so in whatever area that you are seeking knowledge and wisdom, I almost want to say reflect on your experiences and seek more knowledge and see if you can't put the pieces together. In the heart space, you have this struggle around this healing energy. We have the card of the lilies here, which is about healing. And so I am the energy that heals all of me, mind, body, and spirit. I am the energy that heals. And so that is one thing to do, because in the area of where you're struggling, we have this transformation card. So you are struggling, not necessarily, I feel like you're struggling with impatience over how long it is taking to transform a situation into what it is that you would like it to look like. And with the North Node getting ready to egress into your sign, I promise you that over the course of the next year and a half, you are going to start to really see the way through to create this major change. It feels like a very major shift and change in your life. And then you're going to have to continue, and I'm really sorry, between being a fire sign and initiating fire sign at that, patience is going to be something that would be a really great attribute to develop, because after that, then there's like another year and a half of the integration process before you really start to see things happening. And so I really want to encourage you to check out what you see. Is that Goofy? Is it Donald? I spy something blue. I mean, really try to find ways to enjoy where you are as you are snaking your way along through this path that's leading you to the destination. I feel like you can see the destination. You know where it is you want to go. It's the path that feels interminable, like it goes on forever, like, oh my God, are we ever going to get there? And the answer is yes, eventually you will. But there is a need to reduce the delays by finding joy in the moment. Now, do you actually get there faster? I don't know, but I do know it seems as though you get there faster if you're having fun along the way than if you're not. And so choosing fun and choosing joy. And so how do you transform this situation? We've got this little girl picking up the eggs, right? And so it is the low-hanging fruit. It is seeing where the abundance is. It is collecting it as you go. It is focusing on the project that is right in front of you. It is looking for the opportunities as you see them and taking them. Taking the opportunities along the way will really enable you to develop further. And again, we have this card of protection, but you are receiving protection. So here in the energy to take, she is waiting. She is waiting and she's protecting her space. She has a very kind of guarded energy, but not how do I put it? She's relaxed in her protection because the shield is leaning against the home. She has her spear there, but she's looking down the road. It's like she's paying attention, and she could easily get her shield if she needs it. But right now, she's just focused on looking down the road and see what's coming. There's an energy of patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm an initiating sign, and it is a struggle. Okay, so in the area of resources, you have the anchor. That means there are resources you can anchor into. So what are resources, right? So that's financial for sure. But it is also your time and your energy. It is your emotional energy, spiritual, mental, physical energy. It's all kinds of energy. And of course, finances, and they seem to be really on your mind because we've got here in the heart space the little mice. And the little mice in the heart space say, be careful of the little details that they're draining your energy. So if you're talking about finances, where are you nickeling and diming your own self? Like, you know, clean up that budget a little and see where you could save things. That if it's time, where are you losing time? For me, I had to stop watching TV. In fact, I don't even own a TV anymore. I can still watch it on the computer sometimes, but it's less of a just come in, flop down on the couch and watch TV kind of thing, and then you wake up and you go, oh my God, it's time to go to bed, right? So it's kind of less than that. Well, you have a lot of cards that want to come out here. So Aries, I just really want to encourage you to see where you're letting energy kind of slip through your fingers. Maybe you aren't even paying attention to it. If you're around energetically draining things, you know, people, situations, where can you shore that up a little? And more importantly, how can you put more energy of the positive nature in your life by, you know, doing the things that are fun and enjoyable? Because what are you supposed to anchor into? And since we have the anchor here in the energy of resources, and this is generally up here, the energy of resources, you have them in mutually receptive spacing here, which means that you have an opportunity to really anchor into the financial resources. The fish are finances. What's interesting here, though, is they are going home to spawn. And so it's almost as though returning to something that you enjoy, something you've done in the past, some skill that you've allowed to lay dormant for a while, returning to an old job, you know, making contact with someone that you used to know who can give you a lead, or maybe moving your family back to where you used to live, or there's some kind of a returning to something familiar that allows you to really anchor in the energy and to bring in the abundance. So, oh God, you guys, you got the card of patience. I'm not kidding. Like that, I'm sorry. I totally get that. All right, so you have expand your consciousness. You have the card of the brave spirit. I want you to notice, this is Artemis. She has her bow and arrow with her. She doesn't have the bow strung. Like the bow is strung. She doesn't have it, you know, an arrow notched in it, right? Kind of the same energy there. There is a need to be courageous about what you are doing, being willing to face whatever it is that is making you nervous. So I'm gonna just I really kind of got into this over on Facebook, but I think maybe you guys need to know. Dark Moon Lilith is a big player in this. And Dark Moon Lilith, um, at this full moon, is saying, where can you be brave and step up into and have the courage to face that which is blocking you and stopping you from acquiring what it is that your goal is. That seed of intention that you planted maybe a year and a half ago, and that you've completed some sort of cycle, and now you're moving into the next phase of it. And it seems like the biggest block for most people is going to be something within themselves. So can you see it? And are you willing to stand up to basically yourself and say, I can do this. I can push through and create this, because we have expand your consciousness. So this is that awareness, right? The little mice here is about paying attention to the details in your heart where you're draining energy, but also it's about seeing the things in the smallest detail, and also how can you expand that out? Because if you get one mouse, that within hours you have 15, because they start having babies, I swear. You have here Kuan Yin, kindness and nurturing. This is yourself. Be gentle with yourself through this process. When we have the snake sitting here in the key of the situation, it's not a very nurturing energy. And so the solution, the antidote to this, is to go ahead and take care of yourself, but also take care of those around you and work with the gentleness. And then you have the sun and the moon. You have the sun and the moon. Full moon. So the moon says you are wandering between a jubilant world of reality and fantasy. All is not as it seems. Embrace the sensuality and the sensitivity for the current that the current energy brings, and the heightened emotions may not be stable. So avoid making big decisions at this time. And so again, it's the small things. Pay attention to the small details. But you have Ra, the sun god, who says to share your gift. To share your gift. And so again, I think that there is something, a dormant skill set, a dormant thing, talent, skill, connection. And it's time to reconnect in, and because we have the community, right? It's time to connect back in with something, because there's a lot of abundance that is going to be available to you. It is going to be a process, though. Don't forget about the patience card. So there you go, guys. I hope that was helpful. I'd love to have you join me over on Facebook. We're going to be working with Venus as she transits through a fellow fire sign of Leo. She gets there on the 5th of June, and she stays until the gateway of 1010, and there's that Lion's Gate in the middle of that. And so there is a big bunch of energy we're going to be working with. Love to see you over there. You guys take great care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.